Hello, welcome to Harry's Plant Life. Today we're having a look at what's vegan in Poundland. The short answer to that question is not a great deal of actual substantial food, but quite a lot of the processed food and snacks, which is a development from when I was first vegan maybe 9 years ago, when nothing would be labelled vegan and you had to go through and look at the ingredients yourself. So, things have come on, but I'm going to go through each aisle. I've got footage of where I was looking around and talk you through what's vegan and my thoughts. Starting in the fridge section, they have all of the usual drinks that you find with meal deals. Many of these are vegan, and if you're not sure, you can just Google because they're pretty big brands. But in terms of sandwiches and sides and salads, there were so few options that were vegan. I did find these little breadstick and hummus pots, which were vegan, and next to them, they also had these kind of little focaccia crackers with hummus. They were also labelled as vegan. They had this pasta salad, which reminded me of the Morrison's one, which was vegan. These Oreo bars were not vegan, which sucked. And then I moved into the sweets section and crisps. They had a bunch of things, some labelled vegan explicitly, like the fruit pastels, and some like these crisps, they're labelled vegetarian. And then when you read the ingredients, they're vegan by ingredient. All of these freezer pops were labelled vegan, gluten-free, which is very cool. I was excited to see that. Cheap and cheerful. And these crisps were also labelled suitable for vegans. Wait, I'm not focusing on the right bit. Let me go. There we go, suitable for vegans. Woohoo! I was pleasantly surprised to see that there are a lot of vegan Haribos now, which are labelled explicitly vegan on the front. Very cool. And now some tried and tested brands that we know are vegan. Jammy Dodgers, although I'd never seen this flavour before, which was interesting. The two different Doritos salsas and Biscoff, the ones with cream filling, and the normal Biscoff biscuits were all labelled vegan. So were these sugar-free wafers, which is exciting. Different flavours down there. I also looked at the Pick and Mix Candy King, and they now label when things are vegan or if they're just gelatin free, and some other dietary requirements. I thought that was pretty cool because when I was a kid, there was nothing like that around. So how exciting that now vegan kids can go and take a pick and mix. I just showed you some of the fruit and nut selection. These onion rings and popcorn were both vegan, as were these bacon rashers, and the bacon rashers were actually gluten-free by ingredient, so I was very tempted by them. I was sad by the Bourneville that now it has milk in, but look at all of these sweets that are labelled vegan on the front. It's super easy to just go and have a look and see which ones are vegan. Those Vimto ones were not, which was very sad. They had beef gelatin. Skittles, they had a big selection of them. The ones that are vegan are labelled so. The ones that aren't have beef gelatin, so be careful. Then I looked in the bread section, and all of these breads were labelled vegan, as was this golden syrup instant oat pack. I just couldn't believe how many brands are now explicitly saying they're vegan. It's really cool. And these fruit winders took me back to packed lunches. We've got Marmite, Biscoff, Saurine, some peanut butter. These are all classic kind of vegan things. And the beef pot noodles are vegan. I think what's cool though is it's no longer that these items are accidentally vegan, like vegan by ingredient. They're actually advertising that they are, which is cool. Their ketchup, brown sauce, and hot sauce were all labelled vegan. The barbecue, I think, had milk in it. Heinz beans, although they're so expensive. Some chopped tomatoes, some teas. I was sad that the chai and hot chocolate all had milk in. And then I looked in their fridges. Their apple and orange juice were labelled vegan. They've got lots of fruits and veggies now. I think this is quite a new addition to a lot of Poundlands to have these fridges, which is very cool. And then they had some frozen berries and vegan magnums. They had different flavours of vegan magnums and that chocolate Swedish glass. I don't know how you say that word. And these vegan Ben & Jerry's, mini Calippos, frozen veggies. Those garlic slices were labelled vegan. They had jacket potatoes and different chips that were labelled vegan. And some hash browns and fries. I am such a potato person. All of their corn was the egg type, which was sad. And then they just had all these multi-packs of crisps, which, again, we already know which ones are vegan. If you don't, you can Google quite easily because these are big names. So that was just a quick fly through what is vegan at Poundland. I guess most of it was like crisps. There were a few things that you could grab if you needed to get a meal deal when you were out, although I don't think those things were in the meal deal, but you know what I mean, like if you needed a lunch, there were a few things, but not a lot if you are gluten-free and vegan. I don't think there was anything in the fridge sections that was gluten-free and vegan. In the freezer section, it would have just been the like fries and potato products, and obviously the like fruits and veggies. But yeah, lots of crisps and sweets and snacks and that kind of stuff, and obviously a few bits like tins and tea, although they didn't have as many tins as I expected. But I also think buying tins from Poundland actually isn't the cheapest thing. Often supermarkets have better deals, and they obviously have own brands and like value ranges, which Poundland is just stocking the big brands, and sometimes not even cheaper than if you just got the big brand from a supermarket where they have a deal on. I think if you were not vegan, you could possibly sustain yourself on the foods from Poundland. It would be a very processed diet and quite repetitive, but I think it'd be possible. I think if you're veggie, again, possibly, because there are the corn products. If you're vegan, I don't think so. I really don't think so. There wasn't like any protein sources, for example, for vegans. They didn't even have like, other than like the tinned Heinz beans, they didn't have any tinned beans and legumes. They don't have any dry beans, which I've watched a lot of videos of like Dollar Tree and other shops like that in America, and it seems like they sell dried beans a lot more in big bags. I've never ever seen anything like that in Poundland. Let me know if you've seen it in a Poundland near you. But yeah, I think certainly from the Poundland that I walked around, you couldn't live off the food there, and also you probably wouldn't want to because it's not the cheapest shop. But there are some bits that you could pick up. And thinking about myself 9 years ago when I was a teenager living at home, would have been going for like sleepovers at my friend's house and stuff like that, being able to go into Poundland and seeing sweets and crisps that were like explicitly labeled vegan would have been really handy and exciting, and I could have taken those things with me. So it's not necessarily that Poundland has a bad selection, it's just obviously not a supermarket, so they don't have as much for vegans as you would like, but much more than the last time I actually stopped and looked at the food that was available there. I hope you found this interesting. I've got another one coming up for M&S, which is much more in depth because M&S has an unreal amount of vegan food, and they're really, really good at labeling what food is vegan. So that should be coming next, but I just wanted to give you this little Poundland one in case you find it interesting.